Hey, everybody, are you looking to build your dream home and you're just getting started and you're beginning to think about land? Well, today we're going to talk about that. I'm Adam Black, your lender for your life. And with me is my trusty cohort, Bryan Nesbit. He's over our construction department at our bank. Bryan, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Adam. Glad to be here with you and your clients.
Thanks, man. So let's talk about land. First question, does owning my own land help in the construction process?
Absolutely. So in terms of looking at a construction loan also includes the land purchase itself. So if you have your own land that you've already either paid for in full or have substantial equity in, that's going to help benefit you in the construction loan process because we're going to be looking for most lenders to contribute about 20% of the cost of the project. So if you've already got that equity in your land or you own it outright, that will count towards your 20% down payment.
That's great. Okay, so that rolls into another question. What if that land isn't paid off when I start building? How does that work? Like, let's say I've got a loan at one of the land banks. I went and bought the lot a few years ago and I haven't got it all paid off yet. What happens there?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very, very simple process. So any equity you do have in the lot, we'll just use some very rough numbers. Let's say you've got a $60,000 value lot that you've put $20,000 down on. We can include that $20,000 in equity towards the required down payment on a construction loan. But in terms of how that all plays out is just like a mortgage loan would pay off a construction loan on the back end, a new construction loan as part of land acquisition or a new construction loan can help pay off an original lot loan that you may have.
Okay, perfect. So let me ask you this. Does it matter if that land is out in the country where it's just surveyed land, or whether it's in a development, which I guess is that meets and bounds, I guess is what you would call that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's several variables. Yeah, there's several variables that you need to consider. And a lot of folks want to be out in the country and have acres to themselves and not have a neighbor directly behind their fence staring in their backyard. But there are some variables to consider. So if you're in a subdivision, obviously that's already been developed. So you're literally buying a lot with all the infrastructure in place, and you're literally going to start with some dirt work and then the foundation and go up from there. But if let's just say you own some raw land, you're going to have to take some additional steps, and there's going to be additional costs because you're going to need to get it, if it hasn't been properly surveyed, you're going to need to get it surveyed. But the key is, the really big part of that is making sure that you have the infrastructure to build a house there. Is it part of public sewage and water utilities? Is there electricity that can be brought to the property? And if there's not public sewage, you're going to have to set up a septic tank system. So there's a lot of variables. So if you want to have land out in the country that's in a rural area, that's great. We can help you with a construction loan or building on that, but you'll need to consult very closely with a trusted builder to make sure that builder can help you bring the infrastructure that you need to provide the proper utilities and water for that house.
That's a good thought. I haven't thought about that. 500-yard driveway, you got to get power in there somehow.
You got to have power and water. Yep, absolutely. And those are going to be some additional costs in there. So it's very doable, but there's just some front-end processes that you need to make sure that you've covered your bases on.
So before we end this video, is there anything with land that, other than what you've already talked about, that people really need to think about? Because those are a couple of things I had not even thought about, and I do this every day. Yeah,
I mean, I think the biggest thing is if you're going to go buy a typical lot in a subdivision, I mean, those lot costs are pretty consistent across the board. We know what those appraised values are on a lot in a subdivision. The difference is, and this is where a good appraiser helps, is let's say you've bought 15 acres.
Okay.
And you're going to buy a house on that, and you're going to build a house on those 15 acres. Well, as you know, in the mortgage business and our real estate partners know, everybody looks at comps. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to want a good appraiser to help determine what an appropriate value for that 15 acres is, because that it can skew the numbers if you're looking at a $60,000 quarter acre lot, or if you're looking at 15 acres for X amount of dollars. That's where a good appraiser is going to come and help determine the valuation of that land as part of the overall process and the appraised value of the completed house on that land.
Okay, good thoughts. Well, man, look, I really appreciate you being
Absolutely.
here. We're going to try to keep these videos short. This is a complete series. You'll find a playlist on my YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. This is number 2, I think, of about 5 or 6. keep visiting. Make sure you like, subscribe so you know when we drop the next one. Reach out to me if you have any questions about construction. I can put you in touch with Bryan. We'll talk about it as a team. Share this with your friends and make sure you comment. We want to hear from you guys what questions you have. We want to know what you want to know. So thanks again, Adam Black, your lender for your life, and I'll see you guys next time.